for a great, great treat. This is, uh, in this video, I'm going to show you an incredible confirmation of how this year connects to why Washington State is going to be destroyed. When I say destroyed, I don't know if all of it's going to be destroyed. I think just a certain part of it is going to be destroyed, okay, of Washington State. So get out of Washington State before June 11th, okay? I have two predictions that on Washington State, there's going to be some horrific event, okay? And so get out of Washington State before June 11th. It's the biblical beast out of the sea event. And on August 4th, Trump gets his head wound. That's my other prediction. But this prediction is mainly about Washington State and June 11th. Now, before I get into the incredible information and the confirmation of why it's going to happen this year, let me just tell you this, that because this has something to do with Room 101. And what's with this Room 101? You know, that has to do with The Matrix and a few other movies, but it's mainly The Matrix that people, if, anyway, I don't know if other people from that movie and the book 1984, that George Orwell thing, because that had a Room 101 too, but I'll get into that in a minute. But let's start with the Matrix thing. In the Matrix, Neo was in Room 101, okay? And he is the chosen one because the word Neo is one, right? And I've already told you guys that I'm the real Neo. And what do I mean by that? Because Keanu was born in the same hospital as me at the exact same time. He was born 2 days before me in the same year. He was born September 2nd, 1964. I was born September 4th, 1964. And he was still in the hospital as a baby. Because back then, they would stay for almost a week sometimes, the women. And he was born in the same hospital as me, okay? And this Keanu Reeves, he was born in Beirut, Lebanon. What is he doing in Beirut, Lebanon? You know what I mean? I was born there. And I was living there. He was, you know what I mean? My family lived there. This dude, anyway, for the people who don't know, I'm Armenian, and Armenians were the first Christians as a nation, as a people, okay? But anyway, so, like I said, and this is before I ever knew anything about Neo and, all these connections, I didn't know, I'm saying. All I knew is that there was a movie called The Matrix, and that he was in Room 101, right? Because I saw the movie a few times, and I remembered that. And the Matrix is all about breaking. They always say breaking the Matrix, and it's all about numbers and stuff, right? And so when I first started doing numbers on this channel, see, I'm laying a groundwork for you before I show the incredible information. Be patient, okay? And so let me just tell you this. I had 41 channels terminated by YouTube, okay? But forget about that right now. And this is my 42nd channel, right? And you know how important that is. But when I was on Jurassic Liars 26, that's what's important here, is the 26, is the first time that I started talking about my predictions, not the dates. I didn't have the dates yet until in 2016. I had that Washington State was going to get struck and that Trump was going to get his head wound, but I didn't have the dates yet until late 2017, early 2018. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is the chat okay? Yeah. All right. People are saying it's buffering. Are we okay? Before I move on. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I guess for some of you it's buffering. But listen, so the first time I started talking about this Trump, this Washington State being struck and Trump's head wound was on Jurassic Liars 26. Okay. And that was the channel name. All right. And I'm getting distracted because people are saying that it's buffering, you know. Anyway, yeah, they're messing with me, YouTube already. You see what I mean? And I'm getting people. All right. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. Anyway, listen. So on Jurassic Lives 26, like I said, the 26 is what's important because we're in the year 26 right now, right? And on that channel, when I first started talking about uh, uh, numbers and you know all this stuff that I'm talking about right now, it was on Jurassic Lives 26, and the first videos that I was doing was called Matrix Room 101. I'm talking about on Jurassic Lives 26, Matrix Room 101. Okay, now before I keep going, let me just show you this before I forget. What was the date? Look at this. Because I named my channel after Jurassic Park, you know, because I'm calling all those people who run the Matrix Jurassic liars, right? Okay. When did the movie Jurassic Park get released in the United States?
Jurassic Park premiered in Washington, D.C. on June 9th, 1993.
Listen.
But it was released nationwide in the United States on June 11th, 1993.
Okay, so look, you can see it says June 11th. You understand? It says June 11th. And by the way, you're seeing everything backwards. You know, when I'm showing you like this is my right hand, but it looks like my left hand for you guys. But anyway, so it was June 11th that Jurassic Park came out, and that's who I named my channel after. Now, let's go to, and like I said, he's born in the same hospital as me, that dude, okay? Now, let me just real quick show you this. We're not going to sit here and go through all the thing. Anyway, they're saying that Room 101 in George Orwell's 1984. You see the 84? George is Washington. Get it? Okay. George Orwell's was a basement torture. Something about it was the worst place ever. Listen, I never saw the movie, and I never saw the book. I mean, I never read the book. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's something supposedly bad. Okay. And then in the movie The Matrix, you have Neo's apartment was Room 101. Okay. And then there was another 101 in that movie too, but I can't remember where it was. But anyway, so he lived in it. And remember, Neo is the anagram for the word one. You know, Neo is ONE, one. You know, because he's the chosen one, right? He's right there. That's his room number. Okay. And then in The Beautiful Mind, he was in 101 too, but not his apartment. Wherever he did all of his work, his studio or something, is Room 101 also. Okay. And guess what happened today? Today is February 13th. And I was just going to do this video because I've been working on it for the last few days, right? Trying to get it ready. And look what I saw on TV today. I see a commercial for a movie release that's called Crime 101 with Halle Berry, Chris Hemsworth, and Mark Ruffalo. Can you imagine? Like, I haven't seen nothing about 101 for years, you know? This just came out as I was about to, do my video today. It's called Crime 101. It just got released today. All right. And, even in that stupid iPad goat video that all the truthers know about, the stupid animation thing, which I broke down that thing. I'm not going to do it here, but they have a 101 there. If you look around the scene where they have the chalkboard, they have a 101 right in front of everyone's eyes. Who in the chat has seen it? Can someone tell you if you've seen the 101 on that iPad goat video, iPad goat 2? Put it in the chat that you've seen it. Just put yes, I've seen the 101 in the iPad Go. Anyway, so, and then look at this. I said, well, let me see if there's a movie called Room 101. Look at this. There's some stupid movie that came out. I don't know. It had subtitles or what. I don't know what it was. Look, it's from 2001. The last time. You see what I'm saying here? That's when 9/11 happened in 2001. Okay? Yeah. So that's another weird connection there, you know? Anyway, all right. So let's get to the video here, okay? Yeah, it's like an 11. Yeah, I told you guys. The tower's at 110 floors. I've already done the videos on the 110 and its importance. All right. Now, all right. Now let's get to this part now. So you know that Seattle just won the Super Bowl. And I said that Seattle would go to the Super Bowl back in June of last year. Before the season even started, I predicted Seattle would go to the Super Bowl. Okay? And they won it. Do you understand? I predicted it. And why did I predict it? Because they were playing at Levi's Stadium. This was the first time since I started talking about Elvis, because Elvis is Levi's, is the anagram. So this was the first time since I started talking about it that they played at Levi's Stadium. They had only played one other time, but that was in 2015 before I ever talked about it. They played there. I started talking about it in 2016. All right. It was 2015 when they started playing at Levi's Stadium. Anyway, so this was the first time, and I predicted that Seattle would go. It was the first time I'd ever talked about Seattle going and doing good, because I don't care about sports. You know, I picked it because it was at Levi's Stadium. Now, what's next year's Super Bowl? Look at this. Look at this. They're showing like a big wave, like a tsunami type, wave. All water they're showing. And why is that important? Why is it important that they're showing water? This is next year. And notice they have the Super Bowl logo right in the middle. Okay? Watch. Give me a second. Because see, Elvis equals water. And Elvis equals reset. It's the exact same numbers in gematria. Water equals reset. And how did God reset the earth? With water. So Elvis equals water. Elvis equals reset. And they have the Super Bowl trophy right in the middle of the water. Right? And by the way, it's going to be in Los Angeles next year. But see, they're already telling you, okay? They're giving you predictive programming, okay? And they're showing you the trophy in water. And why are they showing you the trophy? Because I told you the Super Bowl trophy is called the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Vince Lombardi's birthday is 6/11. Okay, I've been talking about this for years. All right? And do you understand? So the trophy is in the middle of the water, and the trophy kind of looks like the Space Needle in a way, the way it goes, like in an A shape, in the shape of the letter A, and it's got a top, like the head is on top. And interesting that it's called LXI, that next Super Bowl, and that equals 45. That's the Roman numerals for 61, because that's the next Super Bowl. And the date is February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it's the 45th day of the year. We're talking about next year. But we're not talking about next year. I'm not saying it's going to happen next year. I'm just showing you that it's predictive programming. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Now what am I about to show you? Now pay attention. We're talking about Room 101. Okay, here we go. U.S. Route 101 begins in Southern California. Okay, listen to me. It begins in Southern California and ends in Northwest Washington State, okay? US Route 101. It ends in Washington State. Now, just wait till you see what I'm going to show you later. So US Route 101, it opened on 11/11/26. You see that? So it opened between 26 and 27. All right? And from the day Washington State opened, when Washington State was founded to the day, look, it's the same date. The date that the US Route 101 opened was on 11/11 in the year 26. And it's been 100 years. But look, from 11/11/1889, when Washington State was founded, it was 37 years. And for the people who don't know what the 37 is, the 37 looks like the letters EL if you turned them the other way. EL. That's like Elvis because it means God in Hebrew. EL. Okay, it's super important. All right. Now, let's go. Here's where it starts to, where I begin to break it all down. So my two predictions are 6/11, Washington State destruction, and Trump, Ohio head one on August 4th, okay? The two predictions are June 11th, August 4th. It's the 162nd day of the year, 216th day of the year. It's the same numbers. See it? It's 162, 216, same numbers. Then, this year, the Seattle Seahawks, who play in Washington State, were the winners in the year 26, okay? And the 26 prime is 101, okay? We're talking about the 101, all right? And notice, if you add the 26, what does it equal to the 101? And, of course, the 101 has the 6, the 1, and the 1 in there also, okay? So we're talking about the 26th year and the Seattle one, get it? And notice that it equals 127, the total, because Pearl Harbor was attacked on 12/7, and it just turned 84 years old, and 12 times 7 is 84, and 12 plus 7 is 19, like 1984, get it? 101. It was, the book was called 1984, and the room was 101. It was saying that's the worst place, okay? Are you kind of getting what I'm showing you here? Okay? And remember, we're talking about the 26 year. 26 prime is 101. Add the 26 to the 101, you get 127. 12 times 7 is 84. That's how old Pearl Harbor is right now, right? Okay? Now, and remember, Trump's going to get his head wound on August 4th. Trump's born on 6/14, but he's going to get his head wound on August 4th. 6 times 14 is 84. Okay, which, again, these are all things I've shown. Anyway, back to the 101. Seattle, its numbers in the forward numbers in gematria is 82, and the reduced numbers 19. Add it up, you get 101. The 26 prime is 101. Seattle won in the year 26. You understand? Okay. And do you know that the first of the year, look at the numbers for the first of the year. So you can write 101, the first day of the year this year, 101/26. The 26 prime is 101, right? And you know why they named January 1st the first day of the year? Because it connects to June 11th. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. August 4th, 216th day of the year. If you punched in January 1st to the gematria calculator, it equals 162 forward, 162 backwards. That's June 11th. And look at the total right here is 216, see? Okay. And by the way, 9/11 was the 254th day of the year. So it has everything right there, But again, I'm just trying to show you something. So we're in the year 26. Who won Super Bowl 26? But first, let me show you the date. 126. Look at that. Super Bowl 26 was on 126. It's the same numbers as 216 and 162, which is June 11th, August 4th. And the 26 prime is, we're talking about being the 101 connection, right? And, but we're also talking about the numbers 216 and 162. Super Bowl 26, right? Let's see who won it. But before we see who won it, remember, look at the date, 126. Super Bowl 26 happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you know what's been happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? Is the all that ICE stuff. And Minneapolis, Minnesota is a 612 area code, which is the same numbers as 216 and 162, which is June 11th, August 4th, right? And we're talking about Super Bowl 26, right? And it was on 126. Look at the numbers, same numbers again. And who was the winner? Washington. See? So Super Bowl 26 was Washington, and we're in the year 26 now. And who won the Super Bowl? Seattle. Do you get it? But Washington doesn't play in Washington State. They played in Washington, D.C., I think, or wherever the heck. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They didn't play in Washington State. But the point is that it's Super Bowl 26. And look, it's the 3-7, the EL. 3 and 7 looks like the letters EL. EL means God in Hebrew. Okay? And speaking of the 26, what looks like the number 26? The Seattle area code. Look at the Seattle area code. It's 206. They added a second one, which I've explained in my videos already. Okay? Seattle, Washington's area code is 206. That was actually the first area code in Washington State. Okay? It's got the 2 and the 6 for the year, and of course the crown and the portal. And look, if you go from the first of the year, 101.26, I told you the 26 prime is 101, right? And remember, it equaled 162 when you typed in January 1st. But 101.26 to 206 is 37 days. There's that 3-7. You get what I'm trying to say? It's all connected to the numbers I'm talking about. And when did this Washington at the Super Bowl 26, when the team Washington won, was in between the years 91, 92, because it's the season began in 91 and ended in the year 92. Okay, and even the first game of the season was on 9-1 in 91. But why am I showing this? Why am I showing when the season started for Super Bowl 26? Because Elvis is now between 91 and 92. Do you see what I'm saying? So Super Bowl 26, that was won by Washington, was in between 91 and 92 because the Super Bowl was in 92 and early, but it started in 91 this season. Okay? And notice that it's between 26 and 27. Right now? We're in between 26 and 27, right? What is 26-27 connection? That connects to Elvis, because the numbers 26 and 27 is the same as 6722. See it? 6722. Elvis equals 6722. You know? And of course, what's in between 22 and 67 is the 45, which is the bridge. And that's why Trump is the bridge. Like I said, he's the bridge, the portal for Elvis. But anyway, we're in between the years 26, 27. And look at this. Remember, Seattle's area code is 206, and Elvis died on 8/16. In between 206, the date, to 8/16 is 6 months, 11 days. Okay? You see that? 6 months, 11 days. And here's another connection. If you go so I just showed you from 206, the Seattle area code, to 8/16 is 6 months, 11 days, right? And remember, 206 is the 37th day of the year, the EL, which means God in Hebrew. So you have the EL connection with the Seattle area code 206 to Elvis's death date, 8/16, is 6 months, 11 days. Then from 8/16 to 2/26, like the year 2026 is 6 months, 11 days. Are you understanding what I'm showing? Before I move on, do you understand what I'm showing? If someone's not understanding, it's going to get better. This is just me laying the groundwork. It's going to get better. Okay? Now, remember, we're talking about the 26 prime, also the number 26, because we're in the year 26, and we're talking about the 26 prime being 101. Look at this. When was the 45th Super Bowl? Because remember, Trump was the 45, right? Originally. Because the 45 is the bridge. The 45th Super Bowl, the date was 2/06/11 in 2011. Get it? There it is again. The 26 prime is 101. 26 prime is 101. 206 is the Seattle area code, and you have the 611. And the year 26. We're in the years 6/11/26. Okay? Are you understanding that? And it was won by the Green Bay Packers. And why is that important that it was won by the Green Bay Packers, the 45th? Because, first of all, they won the first two, and they won the 31st and the 45th Super Bowl. But why was it important that they had to win the Green Bay one? Because they won the first and the second one too. And why did they have to win the first and second one? Because the 12th prime, 1, 2, if you add them together like 1, 2, the 12th prime is 37. Okay? The 12th prime is, equals 37. But anyway, Vince Lombardi, he won the and that's because Vince Lombardi, the trophy is named after him, the Super Bowl trophy. And he's born on 6/11. Okay, because I told you the 45 is the bridge. I'm not going to explain it here. If you've watched my videos, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I'm going to redo that bridge video again, but in the future. But again, it's the fact that that he won the first one and the second one, and then to the 45th. Okay. Anyway, but the whole point was, let me just go back to what the real point was of that. The point that it was 2/6/11, because the 26 prime is 101. Those are the same numbers. 26101. Okay. And we're in the year 26, and it's going to happen on 6/11. Do you understand? Now, give me a second here. And look at this. Remember, the 26 prime is 101. 26 prime is 101. Everything's about Elvis. When Elvis was born in 1935, okay, then in 1946, Trump was born. Trump was 11 years old. Elvis was 11 years old when Trump was born. Then when Obama was born, because remember, Trump's going to get his head won on Obama's birthday. When Obama was born, Elvis was 26. Do you see the numbers? 2/6/11. The 26 prime is 101. Okay, do you understand? We're in the year 26, and you have 6/11. Do you understand what I'm showing? And 26 plus 11 is 37, the EL. Okay? And if you want further confirmation, okay? If you want further confirmation about the EL connection, okay, real quick. On June 11th, 1977, Seattle SLU won the Triple Crown, the year Elvis died. On June 11th, the year Elvis died, back in 1977, Seattle SLU won the Triple Crown. SLU means to violently kill. So they're saying Seattle violently kill. SLU. Okay? Seattle SLU wins the Triple Crown. Okay? And Seattle's in King County. Horse racing is known as the sport of kings. Elvis was known as the king. Elvis died at 42. Washington's 42nd state. Now, why am I bringing up this horse racing? Besides the fact that it happened on June 11th, Seattle SLU winning. I'm confirming the 3737 code for you, the EL. The Triple Crown is the most prestigious thing a horse can do. Okay? And, out of all these years, there's only been 13 winners. And so because remember, we're talking about I'm going to connect the 3-7, the EL, because 3 and 7 looks like EL. Who was the third winner of the Triple Crown? It was in 1935, the year Elvis was born. 1935, a horse called Omaha won the Triple Crown. It was the third Triple Crown winner. Omaha sounds like Obama. You understand? Obama, Omaha. And listen, so it wins the third running. I mean, the third time a horse won the Triple Crown was the year Elvis was born. So we need the seven. When was the seventh winner of the Triple Crown? 1946. The year Trump was born. Do you see it? 3-7. The third and the seventh. And what was the seventh winner? Assault. Assault. You see that? ASSAULT. Assault. Because there's going to be an assault. You understand? So, but you see, I'm connecting the 3-7. You think that's a coincidence? Okay. And remember, I showed you that Washington State founding date to the day Route 101 was open was 37 years. There's that EL again. You know what I mean? And it's on the same day as Washington State's founding date, 11/11, when Route 101 opened. Because we're talking about the 101, right? Anyway, so remember, back to where we started here. 26 prime is 101. When Trump was born, Elvis was 11. When Obama was born, Elvis was 26. So, and God equals 26. The word God equals 26. Okay? That's why this year is so important. Okay? That's the year that God turned 26. And Seattle's area code is 206. Okay? Now, there's your 2611. The 26 prime is 101. So you have zeros there, okay? Now, and I told you 26 plus 11 is 37, right? And Seattle's area code is 206. And what day is 206? The 37th day of the year. You see? See what I mean? Everything's connected to the EL. All right? Now, give me a second here. Put all this stuff together. I'm making a mess here in front of me. All right, the current timeline between the years 26 and we're in the years between the years 26 and 27 of this century, okay? We're in between the years 26 and 27 of this century. And Elvis equals 6722. I showed that earlier. Same numbers, 6722, 6722, right? Now, remember I was telling you about the 3-7? Now watch what I'm going to show you. Pay attention. You're going to wonder, why am I showing this 64? Because you'll see in a moment why I'm showing 64, okay? You have to understand, because I'm getting to the point again about how this all connects to the 26 prime. Just bear with me. So from the first of the year to 206 is 37 days. And from 2-6 or 2-7, whichever day you pick, it'll still come out to 64 days. Okay? Or 65 if you do it from 206, I think it's 64 if you don't add the day, 65 if you add the day. And from 207, it would be 64 days. Okay, now, why am I showing you 3764? Because look, 37 plus 64 is 101. And remember, the 37 is the EL, right? So EL 64, watch, just keep watching. Remember, I was talking about 3764. Elvis's driver's license address is 3764. His driver's license address, where his Graceland home was. He's got I don't know which one came first, but he's got two addresses for Graceland. 37. These were the two main ones. Okay, 3717 and 3764. And look, EL equals 17 and 37 backwards. The word EL, because I told you the letters 37. I mean the numbers 37 looks like EL, and there's even the 37 in the backwards number. But EL equals 17. All right, because E is the 5th letter, L is the 12th letter. 1737. Look, it's 17 and 37 for his address, and then 3764. Okay, and I've done videos on showing all these connections with that. I'm not going to show that here, but watch how it all connects. Just keep watching. From the year 1964 to the Twin Towers collapse was 37 years. Okay? So there's that 37 again connection. Remember, 37 plus 64 is 101. The 26 prime is 101. We're in the year 101. Just bear with me. You'll understand where the 6-4 is going. The 6-4, the date 6-4 is the 155th day of the year. And from Elvis's birthday to 6/11 is 155 days. And and if you were to put 155 into the gematria calculator, it would equal 216. And you know Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. So from Elvis's birthday to 6/11 is 155 days when you add the day. And when you write it out, the words 155, it equals 216. And the 216th day is August 4th. Because I told you anything connecting with Elvis in 6/11 has to connect to the August 4th, which is the 216th day of the year. And I told you Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. Okay? Now, why am I bringing up this 64? Because remember, the date 6/4 is the 155th day of the year. That's why I was showing this, the connection, okay? Because the date had to do with 6/4. You'll see why in a moment. Oh, and before real quick, let me just tell you this. Like I said, folks, the good part's coming. I'm laying a groundwork and a foundation for what I'm about to show. So, if you know the Roman calendar, the old calendar before they went into the Julian calendar, and then they went into our calendar, which is Gregorian calendar. The Roman calendar, for instance, let's say August 4th. August 4th would be 6/4. Do you understand? On the Roman calendar, because August, the name for August means 6 or something like that in Roman. So it's 2 months this way. Do you understand? So the 8th month is actually the 6th month on the Roman calendar. Do you understand? Or if you don't answer, let me just ask Google to. On the Roman calendar is the month of August the 6th month.
According to Facebook, initially, August was called Sextilis in the Roman calendar, meaning, quote, quote, 6th month.
See?
However,
6th month. Okay? So the 8th month would be the 6th month. So that means 8/4 is 6/4. So that's why it has to connect to the 6/4. Do you understand? And listen, I could show you connections with the 6/11 with the Roman calendar, but hold on. Before I show you that, I'm going to show you this one first. So that's why the 6/4 is very important, that also, because I'm about to show you something with the Roman calendar. And watch. Yes, I've shown that. Someone's asking about the 6/7. Yeah, the 6/7 has to do with Elvis, and I've done a video on that. All my videos are under the live section of this channel. Go to the live section. That's where all my recent videos are. Now, let's get back to, you'll see how the 6/4, how important it is in a moment, okay? So the 26 prime is 101, okay? The 26 prime is 101. And the 101st day of the year is 4/11. So 4/11 is the 101st day of the year. And why is that important? Because remember, the 26 prime is 101. The date 4/11 is the 101st day of the year. On the Roman calendar, 6/11 is 4/11. And look, it's got that 64. Do you understand? Are you looking at that? Are you understanding that before I move on? The 26th prime is 101. The 101st day of the year is 4/11. And on the Roman calendar, 6/11 would be 4/11. Okay? And notice you have a 6/4 and an 11. Now watch this. What is the 64th prime? 64th prime is 3/11. Do you get it? Because I told you the 3 is like a crown, like Washington. It starts with the W. If you turn it sideways, it's a crown. So that's the 3. That's the crown. And then you have 611 and 411. 611 or 411. Do you see what I'm saying? So you understand? 611 is 411 on the Roman calendar. And then of course the W is like a crown. I told you that. So 64th prime is 311. Or you could say it's 614, which is Trump's birthday. It's got the 614 and it's got a 611. You know what I mean? Or just 6114, you know what I mean? And the crown. So it's 611 and 614, you know what I mean? And notice that the 64th prime is 311. Look at this. 64th prime is 311. The 311th prime is 206 with a crown. What did I tell you was 206? That's the Seattle area code. Do you understand now what I'm showing you? And guess who's 64 years old? Obama. You know Obama's 64 years old. Okay? And that, I told you, when Obama was born, Elvis was 26 years old, which is God. And then 3 years later would be the year 64. Do you understand? Okay? 3 years later, okay? Because he was 0 years old in 61, Obama. Which is, like I said, the crown and the portal. Then the 3 is also crown. So it had to get from 0 to 3. Because the 3 is a crown and the 0 is a crown and a portal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? Now, so notice the numbers of this 311. Look at this. So remember, Seattle area code is 206. And what numbers are left? 3113. Look at that. The 6th prime is 13. The 11th prime is 31. So you have the Seattle area code 206, and you have the 31 and 13 numbers left. 6, you see it? And I told you why that's so important. Look, remember, 611 is when Washington State gets struck, and the prime numbers for 6 and 11 is 13 and 31, which of course adds up to 1744, which is the kill number. Kill equals 4417. But look, if you take the 13 and the 31, it equals 41,127. Why is that important? Because that's Pearl Harbor's date. You see that? And for the people who know, I can show you how this connects to 9/11 too. But I'm not going to do that right now. But before I show you that, before I show you the rest, by the way, like I said, I can show you how the prime numbers of 9/11/2001 adds up to 127 and 41. Pearl Harbor's date again. Anyway, remember I told you the 26 prime is 101. We're in the year 26, and we're talking about this room 101 and stuff. Watch this. Let's see what because remember we're talking about 4/11, which is April 11th, right? Do you know there's only one day on the calendar that equals the same as April 11th? Remember, April 11th is the 101st day of the year, and the 26 prime is 101. We're talking about how important this 101 is, right, to this puzzle. So April 11th, the only date on the calendar that equals the same as April 11th is this date. Watch. But first, let me show you April 11th. I forgot to make a card for this. I can't believe I forgot. April 11th. Just remember these 4 numbers, 147.66, and the reverse is 204.69. 147.66, 204.69. Watch this. The only date on the calendar that equals the same as April 11th is... See those numbers? Same numbers. Look at this. It's Elvis's birthday, January 8th. Same numbers. 147, 66, 2. So January 8th equals April 11th, which is the 101st day of the year. Okay? Do you understand what I'm telling you? And 611 on the Roman calendar is 411. Okay? The 26 prime is 101. April 11th is the 101st day of the year. And January 8th, Elvis's birthday, is the only date on the calendar that equals the same as April 11th, which is the 101st day of the year, and the 26 prime is 101. Do you understand? Okay? Do you understand? It's the only date on the calendar. And remember, I told you that that when I was showing you the why it's so important that Pearl Harbor turned 84. So from Elvis's birth to Pearl Harbor, the exact date from Elvis's birth was 6 years, 11 months. So you have the 611, because I told you the 611 has to connect to August 4th. And from that date of Pearl Harbor to 611 is 84 years. So they had to wait for Pearl Harbor to turn 84 years old. And notice it's 6 months, 4 days, or 6 months, 5 days if you add the day. See, that's 64, because 84 is 6-4 on the Roman calendar. Do you understand? And 611 is 411. 411 is the 101st day of the year. And the 26 prime is 101. We're in the 101 year. Okay? And why is the 64 so important? I've been showing you this whole time. Why is 64 so important? Because the day that Elvis turned God in 61, he became 26. And Trump was 15. And the letter O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. So it's the crown numbers. Okay? And if you add up from the year 61 to 64, and Trump's born on 614, that's why I'm showing that. And you see it's the sixes, all sixes, you see. But 61, in year 61, Elvis turned 26. And if you add all that up, you get 666. See it for Trump and Obama, 666. And Elvis, you have the 110, which is like 611 if you look at, because the word twin equals 66. And from Elvis's birthday to the day the Twin Towers fell was 66 years, 8 months, 4 days. And Obama's born on 8-4. So imagine you have 66 years from Elvis's birth. And what fell? The Twin Towers that looked like an 11. And guess how many floors? 110 floors each tower. Do you understand? Yeah. So do you get it? So the word twin equals 66. It was 66 years from Elvis's birth to 9/11. 66 years, 8 months, 4 days. And 8-4 is when Obama was born. Okay? And you have a 6-11 or a 9-11 if you turn it upside down. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Yeah, it's an upside down 9/11. Same thing. That's why this 64 is so important. So we're in between 64 and 65. We're in between the years 64 and 65. That's why when Obama turned 64, 65, see it? 84 years, 6 months, 4 days to 611. That's why Obama turns from 64 to 65 on August 4th. Are you understanding it? That's why it has to happen on August 4th this year, because 611 has to connect to August 4th. Okay? And interestingly enough, if you add up 61, 62, 63, 64, look at that. It equals 250. We're in the year 249, but when Trump gets his head wound, it's going to be in 250. Okay? The America's year. America's, that's pretty strange that it added up to 250 there. But look at this. If you put a crown, the letter O, and you put 61, 62, 63, 64, because that's, remember, Elvis turned God in 26. I mean, he turned 26. God equals 26 in 61, and Obama was born in 61. You get what I'm saying? And then 64 is the final year. and it equals 611 when you put a crown on it, the letter O. So you put these numbers and O, the letter O, you get 611. Look at that. And 611 plus 666 equals 1277. The 206th prime number is 1277. Look at that. Seattle area code 206. 206 prime is 1277. 611 plus 666 is 1277. And what's in between George Washington's death date to Elvis's death date? Not depending on what year you use, because if there's a leap year involved, then it won't work out properly. It'll be 610. You know what I mean? But on certain years, from George Washington's death date to Elvis's death date, you get 611 days. From Elvis's death date to 611 is 666 days on certain years. Not every year. It's 665 on some years. So it doesn't matter, because as long as it connects, that's all that matters. Do you understand? So George Washington's death date is Washington State. Do you understand? And it's all connected. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But from, if you go back from this year to 816, it's 665 days. But it doesn't matter. On certain years, it's 611. And then if you go from George Washington's death date straight to 611, it's 911 days. If you went forward 911 days from George Washington's death date, it lands on 611. So 911 connecting to 611 from George Washington's death date of 1214. You see that? Oh my God, my hand's about to fall off. Hold on. Oh man. Hold on, folks. Like I said, the good part's still coming. I haven't even gotten to the good part yet. I'm just laying the groundwork. I'm showing you all the connections before I show you the most incredible stuff. Yeah, can you guys thumb up the video real quick while I'm resting for a second? Go thumb up the video, people, and then come back into the chat. Every one of you should be thumbing up the video. What are you guys doing, man? This is biblical. This is biblical prophecy I'm showing you here. How do you guys not thumb up this video 100%, man? It's sad. Wait till you see what I'm going to show you. Yeah, I know. I don't understand why we can't all like the video. I mean, I know there's going to be always trolls in the chat, and especially the people who are all the content creators who don't want people to know they're watching me, But anyway, yeah, I appreciate those who thumb it up, and make sure you comment under the comment section after, okay? After once YouTube processes this video, make sure you comment under it too, besides thumbing it up. Remember, all my recent videos are under the live section of this channel. All right. Now, all right, I'm going to start the video now. I mean, keep going now. So remember, we're talking about the 101, because we're in the year 26. The 26th prime is 101, right? And also Seattle's area code is 206, but they added one, which I'm not going to get into that because I've shown how important the new area code for Seattle is too. But the original area code for Seattle and Washington was 206. Anyway, just like 26 with a crown or a portal, 260, 206. But anyway, so let's keep going here. All right. So what do we got here? Why am I showing President Reagan? I'll tell you why in a moment. President Ronald Reagan, he was born on 206 in the year 1911. 20611. I've been showing you that the whole time here. Prime numbers, 26 prime is 101. Same numbers. You see it? Same numbers. And Seattle area code 206. And you have 611, 26 prime for Reagan. RR. There was two of them born on 1/8. You know that, right? Elvis and his R is the 18th letter. There's two R's, 1818. When Elvis was born, there was two of them. Look. Look. I have a whole thing of it. I'm not going to show it here. But look, see it? There's two of them born. One of them was sacrificed at birth, 1818. And in the UK, they say 8181. You see it? 216, 16, 2. That's August 4th and June 11th. You see it? My two prediction dates connecting to the birth of the identical twins. And Jesse was sacrificed at birth, you see? But anyway, 1818, Ronald Reagan initials RR, you see? Now, I'll get to why Reagan is in a minute. But just remember, we're showing the 26101. Watch this. And when did Reagan die? Look at this. When did Reagan die? On 6504 in the year 2004. 654. Remember, I told you that it's all about the 64, 65. We're in between the years 64, 65 for Obama. And remember, I showed you how important the year 64 was with that 666 stuff that I showed, a minute ago, with the chart. So anyway, and from Pearl Harbor, the 12/7, it was 84 years, 6 months, 4 days, or 6 months, 5 days. Remember? Anyway, so Reagan died on 654. But when was he buried? He was buried on 6/11 of that year, 6/11/04. 6114, 6/11 or 614. You get it? Trump's birthday 6/14. But look, see, he was born on 2/6/11, and he was buried on 6/11. You see, that's why no way can this be a coincidence, And by the way, I have so much more to show on him, but I'm only going to tell you this. Pay attention why he's important, because he survived an attempted assassination. Okay, the date was 3/30/1981, and 3:30. Get it? The 33 with the portal crown. But anyway, it happened in 81. Elvis was born on 1/8. Anyway, listen. What was important about that? See, he got pierced in the side. I mean, with a supposed bullet. Pay attention. Pay attention. He got hit on the side supposedly, but another guy named James Brady. Watch this. Listen. I'm diverting right now because you got to hear this. Where did James Brady get shot?
James Brady was shot in the head, above his left eye, during the attempted assassination of President Reagan.
So he was shot in the head, okay? He was shot in the head. And it was outside the Washington Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C., I guess. But anyway, James Brady was next to Reagan. He got shot in the head, James Brady. And what happened to James Brady? He went in, he had all this damage to his, but he didn't die. But you know when he ended up dying? He ended up dying 33 years later. When did James Brady die? Listen. You stupid. I'll just show it to you. Look at that. He died 33 years later on August 4th. And remember, he got the head wound. Do you understand? He got a head wound. And he survived. And he died 33 years later. Okay? You think that's a coincidence? Coincidence? You're nuts. All right? Anyway. So, do you get it? It's August 4th because that's when Trump gets his head wound. Okay? Now, let's move on from that. I've shown this 100 times over the years. Okay? All the Reagan connections, the Kennedy connections, and, And now everybody's doing all the stuff that I've been showing for all these years, you know. It's all right, whatever, you know. It is what it is. Okay, like I said, the good stuff is coming. Just calm down. I don't have much more left, but it's all gonna come together, right? So when did Elvis die? He died on 8/16 in 1977, but he wasn't pronounced dead until 3:30 p.m. by a hospital called Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay? And that hospital, which looks like the Georgia Guidestones, but I'm not going to show it here. I have many videos on that too. Go watch them. Remember, all my videos are under the live section. It's all about the Georgia Guidestones, this connection. But why am I showing you this right now? Baptist Memorial Hospital was demolished on 11/6. I showed this in those videos too about the Georgia Guidestones. I'm not going to show it here. But from 11/6, that day that it was demolished, to 6/11, because like I said, it looks like the Georgia Guidestone, George, get it? To the big event in Washington State named after George Washington. Forget about the days, forget about the months and years. Look at the percentage. Look at that percentage. So the amount of years and days, that's the percentage for that amount of days and years. 206110. Look at that. So you have the Seattle area code 206. The 26 prime is 26 prime is 101. You have all that stuff in there. You see it? And the 611 in the year 26. Get it? 6/11/26. Or even you can say 2026, 2026. But you see what I'm saying? And look, it was the demolished date was 11/6 to 6/11. Do you get what I'm saying? All right. Now, let's get back to what we were talking about. Because remember, the 26 prime is 101, right? And you remember I showed you that from Elvis's birth to Pearl Harbor is from Elvis's birth to the day Pearl Harbor happened was 6 years, 11 months. So it's got the 6/11 connection, like I said. And then from Pearl Harbor to this year is 84 years. So I told you everything has to connect. 6/11/84. And I told you that the prime number, the 26 prime, is 101. If you add the 26 to the 101, you get 127. 12 times 7 is 84. The day Trump gets his head wound. Okay? And I told you Trump's birthday is 6/14. 6 times 14 is 84. Now, why am I showing the 12/7? Because 12 and 7 has the same numbers as 7/12. And I already told you 7 times 12 equals 84. 26 days is the equivalent of 7.12% of a year. 26 days. Remember, God equals 26. Remember, I showed you how it connects to Elvis. God equals 26. And 7.12% of a year is 26 days. Okay? 12 times 7 is 84. Why is this 7? Remember, Pearl Harbor was 12/7. Pearl Harbor happened on 12/7. That's why I'm showing that. 7/12, 12/7. You can say the date backwards, like they say in the UK. Now, 7/12, why is this important? Because do you know that there was 2 people who died back in 2020 on the same day? John Travolta's wife, Kelly Preston. See the press for Presley and the TON for Washington? Pay attention. It was on 7/12 in 2020, Travolta's wife. And Elvis's grandson, his only daughter's kid, Lisa Marie Presley's first son, Benjamin Keough, was born on 7/12. See the 7 and 12, remember? The 12/7 is Pearl Harbor, 7/12. 7 times 12 is 84. Look, why am I showing you this? Why am I bringing this up? Because look at what the numbers are from his to his death, that dude, the grandson of Elvis. Look at that, 101/26 days. Can you believe this? And remember, Kelly Preston died that same day. Preston. Look at that. 101.26. Are you guys understanding what I'm showing here? I want to make sure you understand. Are you guys understanding this? It's a 26 prime is 101. Do you understand? And 611.26. Get it? 611.26 with a crown or a portal. Okay. And now let's go from 712. Let's go from the day he died. Let's see what happens. From the day he died to 611, look at this. 2160 days, or if you add the day, it's 1 day. So 21601. Same numbers again. If you understand, if you don't add the day, it's 0 days. You add the day, it's 1 day. So you have all those numbers again. 26 prime is 101. That's from his birth to his death. Do you see what I'm showing you? I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous. And then let's go from Elvis's birth to this guy's birth, his grandson, the guy who I just showed here. Let's go from Elvis's birth. Look at this. From Elvis's birth to the day this guy was born, his grandson. Look at that. It's the same numbers again. If you don't add the day. If you add the day, then it's 7 days. That's not in there. But look. If you don't add the day, but up to that day, it's got the same numbers as 26 prime is 101. See? And remember, I told you that he died on the same day that Kelly Preston and Benjamin Keough, they died on the same day, right? On 7/12, and I told you 7 times 12 is 84. Look at their ages. Look at their ages. 57 and 27 is 84. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, can you believe this? Do you see what I'm talking about? Now watch this. Who is Benjamin Keough's father?
Benjamin Keough's father was Danny Keough.
Danny Keough.
He was also the first husband of Lisa Marie Presley.
When was Lisa Marie Presley's husband, Danny Keough, born?
Danny Keough, Lisa Marie Presley's husband, was born on November 6, 1960, in Chicago.
You see?
He is an actor.
11/6/64. 11/6/64. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's the 611 and the 64 connection, which is what I was talking about earlier. Are you getting that? It's 11/6/64. The father of that grandson, his grandson. I didn't even check the date. I should have checked it real quick. You know what? I got to check it. But before, can you remind me to check it? Because I'm going to show you something else real quick. You know that 7/12, we were just talking about 7/12. That's the date they died. 7/12 is 6 months 11, 6 months 12 days into the year. If you add the day, it's 6 months 12 days. If you don't add the date up to that day, it's 6 months 11 days. Okay? So it has connections there too. But 7/12, July 12th, is one of only 3 days on the calendar that equal this. July 12th. Oops. July 12th, look. One of the only 3 dates on the calendar. I'm going to show it backwards. I don't care. I'm too lazy to move it. Look, July 12th is 162. See it? That's June 11th, the 162nd day of the year. You see that? All right. And I told you, I'm right-handed. This is my right hand, but you're seeing everything backwards when I show it like this. But anyway, so July 12th, the day that his grandson died and Kelly Preston died. You see all that? Oh, I forgot what I was going to show now. What was I talking about before? Oh my goodness, I forgot already. Oh, I was gonna check the from that dude's uh, birthday to to Benjamin Keogh's birth and his death, to his father. I'm saying I forgot to do that. Now I'm I got excited because I wonder if anything there's connection to that from his dad's death, from his dad's birth. I mean, 11/6, 1964 to oh. No, there's no connection to. I mean, no big connection, but there's some connections, but nothing that connects to what I'm talking about. But let's see to his death what the connection is to the day he died. Let's see if there's a connection. I'm sure there's a connection to Elvis. That's what I should have looked at, you know. Well, it's 55 years. Satan equals 55. No, there was nothing. But from Elvis's birth, I bet you there was something. I look. I have one more thing to show you. This is how this is the confirmation part. Just wait till I show you the most important part. No. All right. Here we go. Here comes the most important part right here. All right. What am I supposed to do here? Hold on. Oh, let me just show this real quick. This is not that important. This one's not that important. But you know, Satan equals 5510. Notice the numbers. 5150. Isn't 5150 lingo for like holding someone for like 3 days or something? But anyway, 5150 is an album from Van Halen too, I think. Or somebody, one of those people. 5150 equals 101. See that? I should have checked the prime numbers on that for those two numbers. But anyway, there's that 101 again. Now, you remember I told you that root 101? Remember, the 26 prime is 101, folks. The 20, and we're in the year 26. That's what this whole video is about. And we're talking about the room 101 and all that stuff, right? So it begins in Southern California, ends in Northwest Washington State, Route 101, okay? Let's take a look at, just real quick, let me show you this before I show you that. Hold on. Yeah, God bless all of you. Appreciate it. So it is for a mental health evaluation, right? 5150. Anyway, so remember I showed this, right? So remember, this is Seattle. And Seattle's in King County. Elvis was known as a king. Seattle's in Washington State. Washington's the 42nd state. Elvis died at the age of 42. Now, remember, I told you that during the pandemic, back in 2020, they were calling this place the CHOP zone. CHOP. CHOP. CHOP equals 42. So if they strike right here in this area and it affects this area, all of this area, they're going to chop this part of Washington State off. They're going to be chopping the head off of Washington State. Okay? That's Elvis's head. You see it? That's Elvis's head. That's his profile. This is the furthest west of Washington State. You see? So if they chop, because they were calling it the chop zone. So if they chop this off, that's what's going to happen maybe. And then it's going to affect all of this area too, probably. But they're probably going to say Seattle's ground zero. You know what I mean? But they're going to be chopping Elvis's head off. Okay? Now, I mean, do you think that's a coincidence? I've been showing that for years, right? Now watch. So, where am I here? Guess where the end of Route 101 is, folks? The end of Route 101 is at the Elvis's temple. Are you looking at that? It's at Elvis's temple. Do you understand? The end of Route 101 is at Elvis's temple, folks. Are you understanding what I'm saying? This is it right here. The 26 prime is 101. Do you understand? Are you getting what I'm telling you? This is room 101. They're going to break the matrix. Okay? This is it. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes, follow the white rabbit. And that stupid Super Bowl, I told you, they win. Seattle won it. The Seattle trophy is the Vince Lombardi trophy. Vince Lombardi's born on June 11th. Are you understanding it, man? And look at on this particular map that I happened to choose. They named, look at it, it's Port Angeles. And I live in Los Angeles, and next year's the Super Bowl's I live in Glendale, California, but Glendale's part of Los Angeles County. Port Angeles. I did a video on this. Why is Port Angeles important? Port Angeles was founded on 6/11. This right here, but that's not Port Angeles right here. But Port Angeles is right up in this area, I think. But anyway, I'm just saying, it just so happens that they put Port Angeles up here, just weird, and but the point is that it's the 26 prime is 101. We're in the year 26, and this is the end of Route 101. Okay. All right. There's just no way this can be a coincidence, people. And do you know that Graceland, Elvis's Graceland, which looks like the White House, because Presley sounds like president, P-R-E-S, right? President. And the White House looks like Elvis's Graceland, right? And who was the 37th president? Nixon was the 37th president. That was the only president that that Elvis visited at the White House. I'm saying. Elvis went to the White House to visit the 37th president, because the EL, right? Thing. Now, do you know that that Graceland opened to the public after Elvis died back in 1982 on 6/7. 6/7. Elvis equals 67, right? 6 times 7 is 42. Anyway, and 6 plus 7 is 13. 42 plus 13 is 55. Satan equals 55. Now listen. So Elvis's Graceland opened in 1982. Why is 1982 important? You'll see in a moment. But Seattle, my phone is glitching. See, my phone is glitching, folks. So if it goes off my phone, I'll come right back. The Seattle's nickname is Emerald City. They named it that back in 1982. And it also has another name, something to do with Queen. I forget, Queen City or something. I can't remember now. But they named it Emerald City in 1982. Why is 1982 so important? Remember, Graceland opened to the public in 1982 because see, Seattle equals 8219. Okay, that's why 1982 is so important. Okay, and now I'm gonna let you look at this here. Let's see if I can bring this up here. Oh, and by the way, that area where it ends, it's Tumwater. Elvis equals water, by the way. Remember that? I showed you that. Tumwater. I wonder what the word tum means. But anyway, Tumwater. And it's somewhere along the Olympic Peninsula. I don't know what the heck it says. But anyway, that's where it ends. In Elvis's head. You see? Tumwater. But let me just show you this real quick. Where is it, man? Where is it? And remember the next year's Super Bowl, I told you it's the 611 trophy right there is all water everywhere, you see? They're giving you a why can't I find what I wanted to show you? And remember when I was doing earlier I showed this? I mean, can you imagine? Today they released a movie called Crime 101. And it just came out today with Halle Berry. Man, it's ridiculous. But anyway, just give me 1 second, folks. My phone is glitching, I told you. I'm having serious issues right now. New King James Version, Revelation 4, chapter 3. Remember, Seattle is the Emerald City, right? Look at this. Let's read this. Let's read it. Revelation 4, chapter 3. It says, and he who sat there was like a jasper and a sardius stone in appearance, and there was a rainbow around the throne in appearance like an emerald. So they're saying that God's throne is like an emerald. Okay? Do you understand? And Seattle is the Emerald City, right? I've been talking about this for years. I mentioned that years ago. It's the emerald is God's throne. Do you understand? And hold on. And how I know that that's the throne, because remember, in that Dr. Evil, in that movie, Austin Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me, that was the name of the movie. It was Austin Powers, the second one. I think it was released on June 11th. If you look at Wikipedia, it was June 11th, that one. Man, my brain is going blank. In that movie, Dr. Evils with an S, get it, is the word Elvis anagram. Just like Levi's Stadium where Seattle just won the Super Bowl. It's Elvis, right? Just like Black Lives Matter. That's why you had lives everywhere across the earth. That Black Lives Matter. Lives is Elvis. Lives is Elvis. Levi's is Elvis. Anyway, so Dr. Evil's headquarters with the S, that's Elvis, was in the Seattle Space Needle. Okay? And also, there was a, let me see if I have an image of that. I got to show this before I end the chat here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. On either HBO or whatever, one of those Netflix, I don't know what it was, but there was a show called Agent Elvis. that came out a few years back, Agent Elvis, and Priscilla Presley was like the co-producer of it. So she, everything was okayed by her. In that movie, I mean, in that series, it was 10 episode series, Agent Elvis. This was the headquarters. This was the headquarters. Look at it. This was the headquarters of the bad guys. It was called TCB headquarters. And Agent Elvis was like, I don't know, he was fighting this bad guy. I don't know what it is, but Elvis was in the Space Needle in real life when they created the Seattle Space Needle, which looks just like this. This was in the show Agent Elvis. In this, but Elvis was in the Space Needle back in the 60s when it opened the Space Needle. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you, this is Elvis's throne is that Washington State area. Okay. And they were calling this headquarters TCB. And what is TCB? That's Elvis's motto. TCB. That was Elvis's motto. Elvis TCB on his airplane. Yeah, the head.
Elvis Presley's TCB motto, which stands for taking care of business, was on his private jet, the Lisa Marie. Yeah. He designed the logo, featuring the...
So look at this. See it? With a lightning bolt, you see? I've already told you guys what it's about. I'm not going to get into that here. But I've already shown everything over the years there. But what I'm trying to say is he had the TCB, it's the TCB headquarters, they're saying, in that Space Needle. It looks just like the Seattle Space Needle. By the way, like I said, I'm glitching, I'm noticing. And how I'm going to prove to you, besides what I just showed, that Washington is the throne, do you know that they had where did they have the killer hornets first discovered in America?
The northern giant hornets, or murder hornets, were first found in the United States in December 2019 near Blaine, Washington, close to the Canadian border.
So it was in Washington State that they had the murder hornet. Murder hornet. Okay? And what is the anagram for hornet? Throne. So they're telling you murder throne. They're going to murder the throne. Do you understand? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Murder throne. Because that's a hornet is throne. Okay? It's the word throne, the word hornet. All right, are you understanding that? But anyway, the most important part here is that it ends, and of course, Elvis died on the throne. He died on the toilet. That's what that whole Super Bowl, the Super Bowl is a big toilet, you know what I mean? And Elvis died on the throne. He was known as the king. And what was he reading when he died on the throne? What was the book that Elvis was reading while he died on the toilet? Listen.
Elvis Presley was reading The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus when he died.
You see the mockery? The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. I think it has to do with the Shroud of Turin or something like that. That book. But anyway, do you see? You see the mockery? Elvis died on the toilet. The toilet is known as a throne. They mock God. You see? You know, there's only, look, folks, I don't know what else to tell you. It's, it's right in front of you, all these connections, Okay? Anyone who got in late, you got to watch from the beginning, okay? And the whole point is that it ends at Elvis's head, man. The Route 101. Do you understand how incredible that is? It's telling you it ends at Route 101. Wow. Unbelievable. You know, it's too much, man. It's too much. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to, you know, speaking of, because, you know, the Emerald City is the Wizard of Oz connection, right? Look at this. Who is Dorothy based off of in the Wizard of Oz? Listen.
Dorothy Gale in The Wizard of Oz was named after and inspired by Dorothy Louise Gage.
Dorothy Louise Gage. Listen to this. When did Dorothy Louise Gage... When did Dorothy Louise Gage born? Listen. It's not saying it. The look, you ready for this? Look at that. June 11th. I showed this years ago. Look at this. It's based off of it. June 11th, 1898. You see that? That's the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy is named after this, you know. You see what I mean? And you know when it died? It died on 11/11. And then Washington State was founded on 11/11. It died 5 months later. It's only 5 months old. But watch. It died the same year. Watch. When did Dorothy Louise Gale die?
Dorothy Louise Gage, who inspired
Oh, I
Dorothy
said the
Gale,
wrong one. Hold on.
died on
Hold on.
November 15th.
No, that's not right. When did Dorothy Louise Gage die? See? 11/11.
Dorothy Louise Gage, L. Frank Baum's niece, died on November 15th, 1898.
See, they say November 15th, but they wrote November 11th.
Confirm this date, even though an earlier, incorrect date appeared on her headstone.
See? That's the headstone. The headstone says 11/11. What are they talking about? You know? 11/15 would be 5 plus 1 is 6. So it'd be 11/6 technically. Also, you know, she was born on 6/11, died on 11/6. If it's 1/15, 1 plus 5 is 6. You get what I'm saying? And 15 plus 11 is 26. They're giving you two dates. Get it? 11/11, 11/15. 11/15 is 26. And 26 plus 11 is 37. You see what I'm talking about? They're like doing all these weird things. You know, this is the Dorothy that's named after the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is the Emerald City connection. Do you see what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? How crazy is that, right? You know? Go watch my Wizard of Oz video. It has this, I can't remember what's the title of it, but I think it's just probably Elvis is the Wizard of Oz or something. All right, folks. Any last? I'll stay on a few more minutes if you want to ask. What? Why is it connected to Donnie Darko? I mean, besides the Trump connect, but what's Frank? Oh, because his name was Frank, right? Yeah, Frank was the rabbit in Donnie Darko, right? And Baum, Frank Baum, get it? Sounds like Baum. I mean, sounds like what it is. Yeah, God bless you guys. Yeah, appreciate it. Make sure you guys thumb up the video. Everyone who's watched this video, make sure you thumb it up. Make sure you comment under the video. Folks, this is another Pearl Harbor turning 84 was the first. I told you that's what they were waiting for. Okay? Now, what's the second thing they're waiting for? Was this. I mean, not waiting for. I'm saying this is the second confirmation for us. You know. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, there's so much more. I did a video, like I said, about that IPEC goat with all the connections. And I even showed you what that house was. That house that they show, a little house that's on fire. That's the Wizard of Oz house. And Emerald City. They're telling you the Emerald City is going to be destroyed. I showed that in that video. It's incredible. And then I showed this info with it, that with the Dorothy Gale and a few other things. Well, anyway, listen, anyone in Washington State, don't ask me what's a safe place in Washington State. Listen, if you're going to be lazy, not lazy, but if there's some odd reason why you can't get out, go to the furthest east of Washington, east and away from the water. So east as far as you can go, and I would say go to the furthest east south part of Washington State, or get out of Washington State, period. Because I'm telling you, you can't take the chance. We don't know how far inland this is going to go, you know? Possibilities of what could happen. All right. I want to make sure we're back because something happened on my phone. I couldn't see anything. All right. So if on June 11th, what I'm expecting is a supposed nuke. We don't believe in those, but if they plant bombs everywhere, explosives, underwater, under the city, in buildings, they could. There's like big buildings empty out there. All the Amazon buildings. Because Amazon, most of it moved. And so if they were to plant explosives and it causes a part of Washington to be taken out and maybe sink into the water, all right, it also cause other cataclysmic events. It could cause earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes going off. So you might have back-to-back days of cataclysmic events from June 11th to June 14th. June 14th is Trump's birthday. Okay? So do you get what I'm saying? So it could be all the way from 6/11 to 6/14. So that could be the 3 days of darkness that people talk about, but I don't think so. But when they say darkness, they might mean like mourning, also, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, June 11th, Washington State event, August 4th, Trump had one. Now, the only other possibility for June 11th, okay, other than being a supposed nuke, would be a supposed alien invasion, because we don't believe in aliens, you know what I mean? On this channel, we believe that Jesus is God. Do you get what I'm saying? The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is one God on that throne, but manifested as three. But pay attention. So, if it's not a supposed nuke, the only other thing could be is a supposed alien invasion. And the reason I'm saying that, that would be the only other side. Anyway, so if it can't be just a regular event. It can't be just an earthquake, because that's not going to change the world. If it's just an earthquake or tsunami only in America, that's not going to change the world. But a nuke, a supposed nuke would. That would get people's attention. You understand? That's why I'm saying. Oh, and yeah, that's right. I'm glad you reminded me that. And the very next day, after June 11th, there's a movie called Disclosure coming out by Steven Spielberg. You see? Can you see what I'm saying? It's right after June 11th. There's a movie supposedly coming out called Disclosure. And it's about aliens and all that. It says, we're going to tell you everything. You know, everything's going to be revealed, you know. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before I end the chat? Make sure you guys thumb up the videos and make sure you comment under the videos, all right? Any other last words here? Yeah, and, you know, probably go to war, you know. War equals 42, yeah. I told you Elvis died at 42. Washington's the 42nd state. The Antichrist reigns for 42 months in the Bible. Anyway, if you came in late to the chat, you got to watch from the beginning. Make sure you watch the whole video, because the very end, I show some incredible info. You know, I mean, towards the end. All right. All right, folks. You have any last questions? I can hang on for a few more minutes, you know, because it's already hour and 40 minutes. So if people are going to watch it, they're going to watch all of it anyway. So, yeah, make sure you guys comment under the video after it's processed here. And make sure you thumb up the video when you leave, right? That's why I say, that's why I named the channel Jurassic Liars, because the Jurassic period is nonsense, just like the Jurassic Park nonsense. And Jurassic Park came out on June 11th in America, on wide release, June 11th. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen on exactly what's going to happen on June 11th. Like I said, the most likely thing that's going to happen is a supposed nuke. So get out of Washington State before June 11th. This is not going to be one of those fake events. It's not. Okay? Because how are they going to get everyone out of there? It's going to be a graveyard, folks. Washington State is going to be a graveyard. Did Elvis shoot his TVs and have a graveyard at his... Listen.
Yes, Elvis Presley did shoot his televisions, especially when he didn't like a program or performer. He'd often say, "Take it to the graveyard," referring to where the broken TVs were sent, which wasn't a real graveyard, but a place for disposal.
Listen. Did Elvis have a TV graveyard at Graceland?
Yes, Elvis Presley had a TV graveyard at Graceland. He would shoot television sets, especially those that...
Are you listening to me? Why am I saying that? Why am I showing you that? Elvis had a TV graveyard at his house at Graceland. Because TV, T is the 20th letter, V is the 22nd letter. It equals 42. He was shooting and destroying the 42. Do you get it? And the word television even has the word Elvis in it. But TV, the letters, is 42. It equals 42. So when he's shooting it, he's shooting the number 42, which is Washington State, the 42nd state. Elvis died at 42. They're telling you that it's going to be a graveyard, Washington State. I don't know all of it, but a part of it is going to be a graveyard. And what do you think is going to happen if it's a supposed nuke? If it's a supposed nuke, pay attention. If it's a supposed nuke, it's going to be supposedly contaminated, that area. So you're going to have to get out of there anyway. So you might as well prepare now, get all your stuff, and just get the hell out of there. Get everything that's important to you and get out. All right? Sell it while you can. Sell and get out of Washington State. All right? And remember, Washington, pay attention, okay? Where did the 9/11 happen? In the Big Apple, Manhattan, New York. The Big Apple. Right? New York, it happened. Yeah, and I named my channel Jurassic Liars before I knew any of this stuff, this connections. I didn't know any of this stuff. And connect. All right, so we're back. Are we back? I can't see anyone's comments now. It won't even show me. All right, so the 9/11 happened in the Big Apple. What state is known as the Apple State?
Washington is known as the Apple State.
See? So Big Apple was New York, where 9/11 happened, and Manhattan, connects to Seattle. I've shown all that with the ATT code. So Manhattan, 9/11 happened in the Big Apple. Washington State is the 6/11, and Washington is the Apple State. Okay? Right? New York, what's 9/11? If it's 9/11 in New York, what time is it in Washington State? You piece of... It's 6/11. I wanted them to say it. So New York time would be 9/11. Washington would be 6/11. It's 3 hours behind. Do you understand? Washington's 3 hours behind. So 9/11 is 6/11. And it's the furthest north, you know what I mean? East